So it's been a month since I've had the XM5, the Fuji XM5, and I'm just gonna talk about just my experience with it, why I bought one, and why I decided that I'm gonna keep it. Yes, I'm gonna keep this little guy. As a background, I am a Sony shooter. I've been with Sony for about, it's been a while, a couple years. But actually, the first camera that I've ever used where I fell in love with photography is a Fuji camera. My brother had a Fuji point and shoot that I decided to bring with me on a trip. And on a trip, we went to the San Diego Zoo, and I was watching these two birds play with each other. Play with each other? Interact with each other. Play with each other sounds weird. Interact with each other, and I just happened to have my camera pointed at them, and they decided to do this weird thing with their neck, and I took a picture, and that's how I realized that with photography you can, with just one click, you can freeze moments in time and you can keep them forever. So yeah, that was my first ever experience with Fuji, and now we're back with another Fuji camera, so it's like a full circle moment. So why the XM5 in particular? There's two things: the price and the size. For what you get with this camera, the price is really good, under $1,000 with both the camera and the lens. This is really a good deal, considering that if you know Fujifilm, the cameras are really hard to get. I really wanted a everyday camera that I can just throw in my backpack, not have to worry about like being too heavy, and not worry about having to lug around like multiple cameras, big cameras that are heavy. And so this is just really light. It's the body alone is smaller than my iPhone 13, and with the lens it's twice as heavy as my phone, but it's really light compared to my Sony camera with my favorite lens, which is the 24-70. With the Sony a7 IV and the 24-70 millimeter lens, that thing is huge, and compared to the XM5, this is like so light compared to that. I've actually shot with this camera one hand with a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that I'm filming right now. I've shot a video with one hand on the XM5 and the DJI, and I was able to like change settings with this camera. That's how light this is. I just like this camera. It's small and compact. While I really like this camera, there's also things that I don't like. One of the things that I don't really like about this camera is the battery. The battery on this is small. I get it, it's a small camera, but at most with constant shooting, you'll probably get away with 1 hour of shooting. So I would suggest that you get at least 2 or 3 extra batteries. Just think that that's gonna add to the cost of the camera itself. Another thing that I don't like about this camera is the IBIS, or the lack of IBIS, which is the in-body image stabilization. I understand why there's no IBIS in this, but what I don't understand is why this is geared towards content creators. When I think of content creators, I think of the vloggers who's walking around filming themselves like this. Now this has a digital stabilization and the lens itself has stabilization. But even with those two, I've tried it and I don't want to say it's crappy, but it's pretty crappy. I don't like it for what I do, which is the run and gun, all handheld type of camera. This is not gonna be the camera that I'm gonna be taking around to shoot video with. Another thing that I don't like about this camera is the lack of weather sealing. I live in Hawaii, so it's hot and humid, so there's gonna be moisture in the air. There's gonna be moisture from the ocean. But actually, when I first tried this, it accidentally got sprayed on with a water sprinkler, and it's okay right now. So I'm pretty confident that it's gonna survive the Hawaii weather. So who is this camera for? This is actually geared towards content creators, so I would say that this is for you content creators. It has a dedicated vlog mode, and the picture and the video that come out of this camera is really nice, but I would just be mindful of the lack of IBIS. So if you can get away with a camera without the IBIS, then this is for you. Next, I would recommend this to beginners. If you're a beginner and looking for a camera, this has a lot of customized buttons that you can do once you get out of auto mode and start using manual mode. There's a lot that you can grow from, whether it's photography or on the video side. And lastly, I would recommend this to people who's trying to get into the Fuji system or just want to try Fuji in general. This camera has been so much fun to carry around. I can take it to a family function, to a party, or a casual night like this. So yeah, get yourself an X-M5 if you see them available.